Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the English Flow podcast. I'm Leo. Today we're diving into a topic that almost every English learner finds challenging: listening. And not just any kind of listening, real listening. The kind where you can follow spoken English without leaning on subtitles. Think about it. Maybe you love watching movies in English. Maybe you enjoy binge-watching TV shows or checking out YouTube videos. And maybe you always turn on subtitles because you're scared you won't catch what's being said. Subtitles feel safe, right? They give you comfort. But here's the problem. When you rely on reading, your eyes are doing the heavy lifting, not your ears. You think you're practicing listening, but actually, you're practicing reading. Then the moment you switch subtitles off, everything feels impossible. Suddenly you're lost, and you tell yourself, I can't understand anything. This is exactly why so many learners get stuck. They become dependent on subtitles like someone depending on a crutch just to walk. Without them, they feel helpless. But today, I want to show you a different path, a smarter way to train your ears and your mind so you can understand English naturally without needing text on the screen. So let me ask you this. What if I told you there's a simple secret most learners overlook? It's not about stuffing your brain with endless vocabulary. It's not about forcing yourself to listen for 10 hours a day. It's about how you listen. It's about step-by-step training that teaches your brain to hear English clearly until it finally feels natural. That's exactly what we'll discover together today. All right, let's begin with the very first step, choosing the right kind of listening material. This may sound obvious, but it's where many learners go wrong. They jump straight into listening that's way too advanced. For example, they flip on an English news channel. But the news is spoken at lightning speed. The speakers rush, use complex vocabulary, and often throw in difficult topics. Or they choose a complicated film. The actors talk fast, use idioms, slang, even humor that depends on culture. And on top of that, sometimes the audio isn't even clear. What happens then? Learners get discouraged. They feel frustrated. They tell themselves, my English is terrible. I can't understand anything. But here's the truth. The problem isn't you. It's not because you're bad at English. It's not because you can't learn. The real issue is that the material is the wrong level. It's like trying to climb a huge mountain on your very first day of hiking. You're going to slip and fall. But if you start with a small hill, you can take steps, make progress, and succeed. Listening works the same way. In the beginning, you need something I call high context English. So what does that mean? High context means the situation, the visuals, or the story give you strong clues to help you understand, even if you don't catch every single word. You never feel completely lost because you can guess what's happening. For example, picture yourself watching a cartoon made for children. In the cartoon, the characters move a lot, and the images show you exactly what's happening. A child wakes up, washes their face, eats breakfast, and leaves for school. Even if you miss some of the words, you see the actions and connect them to the sounds. Your brain starts linking pictures with language, and suddenly, it clicks. Another great example is a simple learner podcast. The speaker talks slowly, uses short sentences, and describes everyday routines. I brush my teeth. I eat breakfast. I go to school. These are things you already know from your own life. Because the context is familiar, your brain can fill in the meaning when you don't catch everything. This is why high context listening is so powerful. It builds your confidence. You don't feel like you're drowning in a giant sea of unfamiliar words. Instead, it feels like standing in shallow water. You can move, practice, and slowly learn to swim. Then, once you're stronger, you can move into deeper water. The same applies to listening. Begin with easy, high-context materials like cartoons, simple podcasts, or short, clear videos. That way, your brain naturally trains to connect sound with meaning. Over time, your ears sharpen, and you'll be ready for harder listening. Now let's move on to the second step. This step isn't about what you listen to, it's about how you listen. Many learners simply hit play, listen one time, and then give up. They sigh, "I didn't understand," and stop there. But here's the truth. Listening once is never enough. Your brain needs repetition. Your ears need repeated exposure to grow stronger. That's why I recommend something I call the 3-listen rule. It's simple, but very effective. The idea is to listen to the same material 3 times. Not once, not twice, but 3. And each listen has a different goal. The first listen is for gist. Gist means the general idea, the overall topic. You're not chasing every single word. You're not worried about perfect accuracy. You're just asking yourself, what's this about? For example, maybe you hear a short story. You don't understand every word, but you can tell it's about traveling. Or maybe it's about food. Or maybe it's about a family at home. That's enough for the first listen. You got the main idea. The second listen is different. Now you focus on key phrases. A key phrase is a short group of words that carries meaning and often repeats. For instance, you might hear, "I woke up early," or "I went to the shop," or "I felt tired." When you listen the second time, you start noticing these repeated expressions. They become familiar, and your brain remembers how they sound together. The third listen is all about details. Here you pay attention to the smaller pieces of information. Maybe you hear the character woke up at 7. Maybe they bought 3 apples. Maybe it was raining outside. These details enrich the story and make it clearer. You don't need to catch every single one, but even a few add depth. Think of it like studying a painting. The first time you look from far away, you see the overall picture. The second time you step closer, you notice shapes and patterns. The third time you zoom in, you spot the tiny colors and fine details. Put all 3 together, and you truly understand the artwork. Listening works the same way. First gist, then phrases, then details. Now let's talk about something that makes many learners anxious. The idea that they must understand every single word. A lot of learners panic when they miss something. They think, if I didn't understand that one word, then I don't understand anything. But let me share a secret. Even native speakers don't catch every word all the time. Yes, it's true. Imagine 2 native speakers chatting. One of them uses a difficult technical word the other doesn't know. Does the listener throw up their hands and say, "Oh no, I can't understand English"? Of course not. They just keep listening. They focus on the other words, the situation, and the context. Their brain fills in the blank, and they still understand the message. That's exactly what you need to do. Real listening isn't about hearing 100% of the words. It's about capturing the message. It's about following the story even when a few words escape you. For example, imagine a friend says, "Hey, do you want to grab a coffee later?" Maybe you don't know the word grab, but you heard coffee. You heard later. You heard the rising question tone in their voice. Instantly, you understand. This person is inviting you to have coffee. That's the meaning, and that's enough. So remind yourself, you don't need every single word. You just need the message. That's how you build true listening confidence. Now let's bring all these steps together into daily practice. First, always pick something simple to start with. Don't throw yourself into a long, complicated film. Choose a short podcast or a clear video with an easy topic. Second, turn off the subtitles. This is crucial. Don't let your eyes do the work for your ears. Trust your ears. Then, apply the 3-listen rule. First, listen for gist, then again for phrases, then once more for details. After the third listen, yes, you can check subtitles or a transcript to see what you missed. Do this every single day, even for just 10 minutes. The key is not listening once a week for a long time. The real key is short, daily training. Each day, your brain learns a little more. Each day, your ears get sharper. Thank you so much for being here with me today on the English Flow podcast. I'm Leo, and until we meet again, keep listening, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. Bye for now.